In a world desperate to tear itself apart, only one man, and some other people, stand in the way of total destruction. Together they will right the wrongs, make bad, good, and single-handedly destroy evil, together. Who is this man, you may ask? This man is Geoff.
Hello and welcome to the Halloween episode of Geoff Jones and Friends Make It Better. The show that takes life's little annoyances, breaks them down, spins them around, wipes them down, adds a little too much talc, applies a fresh diaper, and quite simply makes it better. Today I'm joined by director, writer and creator of one of my favourite ever horror films, Bernie Rao. Bernie,
hey.
It's a pleasure to have you on. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. It's a pleasure to be here. How are you?
Yes, I am very, very well. We've got a 12-hour time difference, and we've managed to figure it out. So I'm very glad that you're here. It's the end of the day for me and the beginning of a new one for you.
Awesome.
No, thank you so much for joining me. And let's get straight into it, please. What is your topic that we're going to make better today?
So we're going to be discussing dogs and dog ownership, right? I need to, in a nutshell, I will resume my experience. I've never, my family always had dogs, but they were always security dogs in Portugal back in the day.
Yeah.
My mother, one day, our house got robbed, and she decided, okay, I'm going to get a dog. So we got the bigger dog we could get, like this, this kind of pit bullish type of dog. So that has been my experience, and they had dogs for many years.
Yeah.
And when it was COVID time, me and my partner were in Australia in the middle of nowhere, and she decided she wanted a dog, right? And she not only wanted a dog, but a dog and a cat. But she wanted to get them as puppies so they would become friends, right? And I was like, I had no thoughts about it, right? My experience with dogs until then, like, I had my family having dogs when they were like, when I was like 10, 11, and now I'm older. And my experience with dogs is like when I'm talking with a friend who has a dog and the dog shows up, my mind just goes blank, right? I just, until the dog goes away, because I don't have any feelings towards, like, I don't love them. I don't hate them. It's just neutral to dogs, right?
Sure.
But now my partner decided, okay, she wants a dog. She got a lap dog, which is a new concept for me. It's like a dog that comes on your lap and kind of curls into a little ball, right? And,
basically a cat, yeah.
Basically a cat, right? It's a toy poodle with a Jack Russell kind of, a little small dog.
Yeah.
So what happened was we got the kitten and the puppy when they were like 1 month old, and but she was working outside of the house, so she would leave for like 10 hours a day, 11 hours a day, because she's a doctor, and I would stay home because I work with visual effects. So I was there during the period where they kind of develop, I think, their brains, right? And I think they're really impressionable when their brains are developing. So I was very disciplinary because we had to keep them apart, because otherwise the dog would attack the cat, and So I ended up building this crate. So I had to put the dog in a crate, but it's like a 2-meter crate. I spent like 3 afternoons building that thing, right? So anyway, so what happens is, like, these days now the dog is 2 years old, and he loves my partner, and he kind of tolerates me, right? But I am the one who kind of has to do things for the dog, like walk the dog twice a day, right? And feed the dog and take him to the vet. And because she works, she has to get out of the house. And when she comes back, it's all, blue skies and rainbows, because she loves the dog. She sleeps hugging the dog. And that's another point of, discussion, because I don't like, to sleep with the dog on my bed, because it's kind of this weight on the mattress. But anyway, okay, it leaves me in this situation where I have to be with a dog that doesn't really love me. I mean, it kind of does when sometimes she goes away for a month and we kind of bond, and I do understand how dogs work in that way. Like, they adapt to you, right? But then she comes back and everything goes away again, So I guess, I don't know what can I say. I mean, I am not. I think there are three types of people in the world. Like, there are dog lovers,
Yeah.
people who love dogs, and when dogs come, their eyes go wide, and it's all great. And there are dog owners and lovers, which are the best, right? It's like, oh my God, it's those people who have 5 dogs, right? And the dogs go everywhere with them. And there's dog owners, right? I am a dog owner, right? I am not a dog lover, which is awful when I'm out. I walk the dog twice a day. Fortunately, now I live next to a beach. So I go to a beach and I walk there, and there are other people walking dogs, right? And man, I just want to get it done, right? It's like 40 minutes. I go up and down the beach. I don't want my dog I don't want to talk with other dog owners, because I honestly don't have anything to say, right? Even after 2 years of owning a dog, if they ask me about dogs, I'll only say crap, right? I cannot just put them through that, right? I don't want to moan like I'm moaning to you right now, right? But I do talk with people. I'm a social guy. I mean, up to a certain extent, if I'm cornered, like I will have to have a few words with the dog owner, but it's not something I normally want to do, right? Especially because I have a small dog, and that's another problem. Like, when you go and walk your dog, I don't know what type of dog you have, but my dog is really small, and there's all the bigger dogs, and you know how it is, like small dog, big dog, right? It's like, I never had a problem where a dog tried to attack my dog, but it's just big dogs can get excited and just kind of jump on your dog, and then you realize your dog is kind of not happy, because you read the signals, the tail goes down and they're grumpy, and then the other dog owner is having a great time because they're just playing, and I'm like, yeah, they're not playing, like I want your dog to get away from my dog, right? And it's like a situation where I don't want to be, but I'm put in that situation a lot of times. It's normal, I guess. When you have a dog and it's bigger than the other dogs, you kind of don't worry much about it. And I do remember when I used to walk my big dog back in the day, and I feel awful saying this, but like, our dog wanted to destroy other dogs. There was no other way of putting this. It's like, and sometimes I never seen anything really bad. Like my dog biting other dogs, but sometimes I would pretend it was not my dog, right? And I hate to admit it, but it was like, they would say, "Hey, what's going on with this dog?" And oh yeah, I don't know, it's pretty annoying, right? I would just walk away, man, because I didn't know how to deal with it, right? It's like, and honestly, I would think, well, it's kind of not my problem, right? Dogs are dogs, they're wild creatures, and I mean, I was so stupid, right? But now these days, oh man, I walk in the beach, and if there's a big dog coming, I'm already stressed, right? It's like, because it's stressful for you, because the dog is my responsibility, and I love my dog in a way, right? I don't want my dog to be in trouble, but anyway, that is a problem when I walk my dog. And then another thing that I think exists, and people don't talk about it, right, too much, is like the exploitation that exists for dog lovers, right? And I see that in my partner, because my partner, she is a dog lover, right? She loves dogs. I don't think she loves other dogs now. She loves our dog, but she's an animal person, right?
Sure.
And when we go out, like to buy food, for example, I mean, she only buys the best food for the dog. Like, that's like, 2 kilos of food for, like, imagine $10, right? Whereas I want to buy the 10 like, I want to spend $2 and buy 10 kilos, right? That's which I think, I look at the food and it's like, yeah, it looks okay. I mean, it's just like, are you crazy? Are you out of your mind? We cannot buy that food. It's like, it's cheap food. And I'm like, well, do we have to buy the most expensive food in the supermarket, man? I don't understand it, but she's like that. The problem is when we go to a vet, or we go to leave the dog in a kennel, which we have done for maybe a couple of times. Man, she orders all the best stuff for the dog. It's like, and we spend so much money. And I see when we arrive there, they know how to talk with dog lovers, right? It's like, oh yeah, we can groom the dog, but we can, do the extra groom. And my partner is like, oh yeah, of course. And I'm like,
need that extra groom. Yes, need the extra.
Yeah.
Never had an extra groom. Yeah.
And I'm like, do we really need that? And they look at me like I'm some kind of war. Like, what?
You horrible man, not wanting the extra groom.
Exactly. I'm like, the extra groom, or And we had to move our dog and cat from Australia to New Zealand, where we are now. And man, the money we paid, it was incredible. Like, we paid like almost $10,000 to bring a cat and a dog here. Right? Whereas for me, my ticket cost like $350. How can this be possible, right? And this was one of the times where I made a scene. I don't really like to make public scenes, but it was stressful. You know how it is. Moving houses is always stressful. Moving countries is stressful. I've done it a few times.
If I'm paying 10 grand to move 2 pets, then I'm getting stressed about that. I tell you.
I'm like, I went to the vet because it was a time where the company moving the dog and cat, like that was like 6-7 grand. I don't know. Like they needed the cat and the dog to get special vaccines for New Zealand. Although a good thing is that they don't need to go into quarantine anymore. They used to, but now they don't. Which was another expense, right? Like they have to make sure that your cat is not, or dog is not bringing any diseases here, which I think is fair enough. Okay.
Yeah, sure. Fine. Yeah.
But I went to the vet to get so we got all the vaccines. I took care of that. And then they said, oh, you got to go to a pet because they need to sign the vaccine paper or whatever. And I'm like, okay, vaccine paper, we need to sign this. So I took my dog and cat, and the vet came out. She looked at the paper. And she's like, oh, okay, all right, I have to go and check that the vaccines are, match with the Australian and the New Zealand. And I'll be right back. And I'm like, okay, but how much will this cost? Because by then I'm like already like, man, this is the dog farts funny and it's like $100. Right? It's like, and they're like, oh, yeah, no, that's no problem. Just go there and we'll tell you how much it is. It's about $800. And I'm like, $800 for looking at the paper and signing like this piece of paper. And they're like, look at me like almost scared, right? And man, and I go into this rant, like all the dog lovers there, like holding on to their dogs. And I'm like, how is this possible? Like, I just want this paper signed and you're going to charge me $800? Man, that's what I do in 2 or 3 weeks doing VFX work 8 hours a day, right? It's like, gosh. And they're like, oh, but, this is what it costs. And I'm like, fuck, man, this shouldn't cost this money. They're like, well, but, we're really sorry. And of course, I feel bad, but, man, does it cost $800 to sign a paper? I mean, I don't know. Maybe it does.
There's no way. See, that is one of the things that really gets me, because they signed it. And actually, you're talking about a minute of time, and their time over a full hour isn't $800. Their time for a day, they could babysit your dog for a whole day, and that's not $800. It's just a money-making scheme because they know how much you love your dog.
I know exactly. That is exactly what it is. I know the dog had to do a blood test. Okay, so that was part of the $800. But man, I have that many blood tests. I go out and I don't know how much I pay. $50. Like 800 is it's exactly like you described. Like they know and this has been going on for a while. Like that's why it reached these prices. I think people will pay whatever it needs to be paid, right?
But you're going from Australia to New Zealand as well. It's not.
It's 3-hour flight, man. It's like Sydney to Auckland. It's like a 3-hour flight. It's not like I'm going to London, which next year I'll be moving to Europe. I know this will cost a fortune. It's like 15 grand probably, right? To move a cat and a dog, man. It's insane, man. And
leave the cat and dog. That's what I say.
oh no, you can't. It's like, and I do understand it's my responsibility, and but my partner would never ever leave the cat and the dog, right? And it's like, man, okay. I was just trying. There's other things I could talk about. I don't even know. You would have to ask me, but it's like the dog expenses are through the roof, right? It's like it's incredible. Like every little thing you buy for your dog costs a fortune. Yeah. Not like bones or but if you buy treats, it's like even treats is like $10 or $15 for a few things for him to chew. And sometimes you buy the treats and they'll just sniff it and they're like, nah. And you're like, oh gosh.
So look, I'm completely excited because I know you're a bit worried that opinions on dog ownership, because people do love there are people out there, they love their dogs, and called fur babies and all this kind of stuff. And so during COVID, during lockdown COVID in the UK, so we had always wanted a family dog. It was kind of the missing piece of the puzzle, so we thought. And we were looking online, as there's nothing else to do. My wife had bought everything there was to buy on Amazon. We'd watched everything on Netflix. So do you know what? Let's get a dog. And we thought we'd do the nice thing and we'd get a rescue. And so we were trawling through all these sites, and my wife saw this picture of this absolutely gorgeous looking dog called Neville, and he was a rescue dog from Romania and had been brought over to the UK, had been in the UK for literally 2 weeks. And this is the dog. He looks gorgeous, 5 years old. And we're like, let's go. And it was a couple of miles down the road. So we went, we had a look, took him for a walk, and he was beautiful and he was lovely and he was cute. And they were like, let's have him. So the next weekend he comes to stay with us for the weekend as like a sleepover in this trial period. And he's the cute dog, and we have this cat at the time. The cat's like not having anything to do with it, but it's fine. They'll grow to love each other. And so we have Neville, and Neville's a German Shepherd cross. And so for the first year, still mainly during lockdown, Neville is this lovely dog. And then unfortunately you have is this kind of PTSD from the fact that he was in a shelter in his homeland. He wasn't treated very well. And all of a sudden, Neville, within the house with the people that he knows, so me, my wife, my children, he's in love with, and he will protect us until his dying breath. And that's the problem, because now anything is a threat. So we've got this lovely dog who can't go out when other people are out. And do you think that anyone else in this house gets up, will get up before other? Do you know, around here, dog walkers go out at about 6:30 in the morning. I have to take my dog out at 5 o'clock in the morning, so he gets a good walk.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah. Because otherwise he'll go crazy with other dogs.
Crazy. But for the first year, he was fine, and we were seeing all these dog walkers, and I totally get what you mean. But I wanted to walk him, but it was a good bit of exercise for me as well. During COVID, lockdown and all this kind of stuff. I'm walking him, and I actually started working from home after COVID, like a lot of people did. So it's really good this exercise. And there's other dog walkers, and they all know all the dogs' names. Oh, do you know? Yeah. Fluffy and no, I don't know. Well, you're this whole community of people who moan about each other's dogs, but then also really relate to their dogs, and it really builds this picture that actually, and I hope I'm not alienating anyone here that may listen, but people who own dogs actually all think exactly the same. They're walking them because it's a chore. However, they have to show this perception that it's the best thing ever. Owning a dog is the best thing ever. We love these dogs. They make our families complete. When actually, that's what you think when you get them. And then they're really just an inconvenience. Right?
It's like, I do understand. Like when you're in that frame of mind, like, okay, I can think of all the wrong things about, the bad things about owning a dog. And I relate to you. I understand what you're going through, man, having to wake up at 5 to walk the dog, because if your dog meets other dogs, he will destroy them. Right. Yeah. Man, that's awful. Right. My dog doesn't have that problem. He's a very social dog. He loves all the dogs. The problem is that dogs get excited with him. Right. I do understand what you mean. Like there is a community of people here as well. And they all, oh yeah, Prince Charles, here's Prince Charles. And I'm like, I don't know, some people even know the name of my dog because my partner sometimes talks to them, like dog lovers do. Like, I don't know. I think genuinely, I think that.
Benny, is your dog named Prince Charles?
No. My dog is named Remy. But there is a dog, some dog named Prince Charles. I don't know. I don't want to know who he is, but it's some Prince Charles around, like, which I think is a glorious name. But anyway, so, I think there are dog lovers out there, and I think they love talking with other dog owners. I believe so. I'm not sure because I don't really connect really with other dog owners, right? But I think there are some positives about having a dog, and maybe we should go through that so it's not only like moaning. And you touched on something really, really important, I think, which is like, yes, the dog definitely makes you do exercise and be active. And I recently had the proof of that, because you don't know. You're like, yeah, I have to walk my dog, but you don't have you cannot quantify that information, right? You cannot just say, oh, here's the proof that I am more active than I would have been without the dog. Like recently, a friend of mine sent me this app where you earn crypto for walking, right? It's like I'm into the blockchain and kind of cryptocurrency because I do some projects and develop some stuff, just for fun. And he sent me this. It's like called Sweat Coin, where it's like, it's one of those projects. I don't know if this will have a life or not, but it's like the more you walk, the more crypto you make. Like you make sweat coins, right? And then you can share it with your friends, and your friends can see how much did you walk yesterday or the month before or whatever. And I was like, oh yeah, I'll just install this on my phone and see how it goes, right? So suddenly, after 2 months of having this app, I can see my list of friends and the friends of friends, and there's a huge list of people who have this, and they share their information, right? And I realized I was on top of that list of 20 people, right? I was like the guy who makes the most sweat coins in the whole list of 20 people. And there's just behind me, there's a woman who also is like,
you're the top.
Like,
you're the top.
I'm the top. Yeah, exactly. I'm the top, and she's like just behind me. And then there's a huge gap. And then there's the platoon. It's like the cyclists, right? It's like there's always 2 ahead, and then there's like a bunch of 20 behind, right? And I'm like, oh man, this Sandra woman, she's up there with me. And then my friend said, oh yeah, you guys, you both have dogs, right? So that's huge. Like you can see, oh yeah, man, this dog actually makes me walk like 40 minutes a day, because you have to walk. Because in my case, I don't like to talk with other dog lovers, owners, right? So I just, if I see someone coming, I just kind of, it's like a magnet, right? I just go the other way. And,
which is great. I get it. It is good because it kind of forces that exercise. What I do also really enjoy from your story is the fact that your partner really wanted the dog, got Remy, but you are still predominantly the walker twice a day. And so the ones when your partner comes in and walks, those are the special ones, and she goes out and makes this big gesture of talking to all the other owners, but you get to do the pain in the ass, the ones when it's raining, when the ones where the dog has to go out.
Yes, those are the ones,
because the dog has to go out no matter what. And it's so like I said, my dog was rescued. My dog was in a thing called a kill shelter. That's where he was rescued from. And my dog, if it's raining and I don't want to take the dog out, my dog looks at me with the grumpiest. My dog has no real emotion outside of pure grumpiness. Like it's got the tail wags when he's excited, but but this what when he's in a mood. If you don't give him some of your dinner, for example, he will cross his arms and rest his head on it. I've never seen a dog cross their arms and rest. Like if you kind of think of a child putting their both their hands underneath their chin and kind of doing the whole kind of, oh, fine. That look, he does that. And I look at him and I say, without me, right, and it may be mean, it's fine. He doesn't understand English. But I say, Neville, without me, you'd be dead. Just because I don't give you some of my dinner doesn't mean you have the right to huff at me. And my wife turns to me and says, Geoff, you are having an argument with a dog. It's completely irrational. And I say, well, yeah, but I need him to understand that I now sacrifice hours of my day walking him, and he gets in a grump with me because I don't give him a sausage for my dinner. And I'm starting now. You've got me going now because I've got this pent up resentment for my dog, who I do also love. Like he lets me stroke his belly, and it's like I know that he loves me because I struck his belly, and he, I don't know, we have a cuddle kind of almost. But a large portion of the time, there's this expectance that I'm just his slave.
Yeah, I do get it. Yeah,
and why? Why?
And you're exactly right about dogs' emotions. Like, it's so obvious what the dog is feeling. You just look at the dog. At least with my dog, I can tell exactly what he's feeling. Or, they don't have a filter, right? They're very transparent. Yeah, if they're grumpy, yours crosses the legs and sits and looks at you, and you know what he's thinking, right?
Yeah.
And but you're right. I mean, they don't. Yeah, you cannot rationalize. It's not a rational thing. It's like there is a love-hate relationship. Of course, I've never even hit my dog, or I couldn't even think about doing that. Right? It's like because my partner was all since the beginning like, no, this is, and we've been to classes and we did it all. Like the much all the money we could spend on this, we did spend on this. Like it's like.
And Bernie, that is why it's okay to come on a platform like this and moan, because at the absolute seed of it, you love that dog, and you're providing it with the best life you can. Get training so it kind of understands, and it gets the best treats, and you pay $10,000 on it. Moving house. And you're doing all this stuff because you don't just give up on it and think, you know what, I'm going to throw it out. And that's why we can sit here and moan, but I know that I'm going to wake up in kind of 8 hours time, and I'm going to walk the dog in the pitch black because he is a lot calmer than he will be if he goes out later. So it's that. And that's why we love, we know the proof in the pudding that we love these dogs, but it's okay to moan about them. Now, I think it's like a little child, and people get frustrated with children. They can't kind of explain their feelings. They cry if you think of a toddler who just sits there and cries, and people are like, "Oh my God, what do you want?" Right? And I've thought about this long and hard. And this show is all about making a situation better. And I honestly think if I could converse with my dog and understand it, then I would be a lot less stressed. He would be a lot less stressed, and we'd understand. And so essentially, all I need is some kind of electrical device to put on his collar where he can talk to me in English about exactly what he's feeling and what he wants and what he wants to do, so we can converse.
I get that, and I saw a documentary the other day. Like people were trying to do that, and honestly,
there's no documentary. I think that's the film Up.
Oh, okay. Where they were trying to do like some. I saw it. My partner was like, "Oh, look at this," and I'm like, "Yeah, But my honestly, my gut reaction to this was like, okay, but do I really need that? Because I kind of know what the dog wants. It's like, the thing is, I don't want to do it. Like, it's like, okay, the dog wants more treats, and I'm like, okay, but I can't give him more treats, right?
But
and
also, if you could understand what another dog was thinking, that might relieve your anxiety about its relationship with your dog.
It could be. I mean, it could. Like, yeah, I suppose it could. I mean, I don't want to act superior to the dog. Like, the dogs have their own thing going on, right? And I have we humans have our own thing going on, right? But for me, it's like the things he wants and needs, I think I can get it, right? I just don't think. I think this would be a great device if the dog could understand your point of view, right? But I don't know if they will be able, if they can do that because of their brains. I mean, I'm not sure, right? But if this device you want to put on your dog could let him understand what you want, like, oh man, I rescued you, you owe me, right? So like, the way you can ration.
That's what I was saying. Maybe, like I said, we know when it wants a treat, we know when it's hungry, we know when it wants to go outside. But it's that kind of emotional thing of, I am afraid by this, I am scared by, or I'm excited by it. And so you can gain, even if it's not an actual English speaking thing, but advice which is kind of almost like a mood ring. The old mood rings you get where apparently it changed color. I think it was just due to heat, but yeah, it's like, this situation is making me afraid, or actually, this is what. Yeah, I know there's tail waggers. There's probably dog psychologists. So my dog, we saw a dog psychologist, and you know what? I was paying this guy's mortgage purely for him telling me things that I could have got off the internet. But I think some kind of device, a mood device where I could just give us some kind of down low.
But I think you are right, because if we have some kind of device like that, you would catch things that earlier, because things normally lead to other things. Like, your dog is grumpy and you don't understand why, and then if you can go back 5 minutes, you realize, he's grumpy because that thing made him grumpy. But
and you know what it is?
Completely missed, right?
It's because I made a ham sandwich and didn't give him any ham. That's what it's.
Exactly. You were thinking about other things, about work, and exactly.
But if he had a little thing on him and it turned blue, and I was like, "Oh, you're sad. You want ham?" I still wouldn't give him ham. So I think we've got that. Do you know, as I'm speaking right now, I've just kicked my dog because he's managed to find his way underneath the table, and now he's looking at me like I did it on purpose. Well, I promise I didn't. I didn't, Neville. I promise. I think we got. So I think it would be made better if we could just understand them a bit better, because then our frustrations maybe be kind of alleviated a little bit. That doing it for a reason, and not just this thing that wants ham and kind of looks at us with disappointment when we didn't give it quite as much love as we should have done.
I agree. Communication is key here, and if that could be improved, for sure, I think a lot of things could change.
But for the record, on recording, we do love the dogs, don't we?
Of course. I mean, it's like you can't help to love the dog. It's because the dog kind of loves you. It's hard when he loves you more. He loves your partner more than you do. When she shows up,
walk it and feed it.
Oh my God! When she shows up, I see the dog doing things that I didn't know dogs could do. Those things, right? She says, "Come here, sit," and he sits. He rolls. He lays down, and it's the love in his eyes, right? When he's constantly looking at her. Yeah. When I'm there, I'm like, "Hi," I'm the one who walks you like twice a day, and you disappear. Right.
It's when you walk in your bedroom and the wife's on one side of the bed and the dog is on the other side, and you walk in. Well, okay. That now I know where I am. I'm the one that's at the end of the bed.
Yeah.
That's my position, and the dog just side eyes you. And it's like, you know.
But anyway, it's like, you kind of can't help love dogs. I think if you have kids, I don't, but of course I understand a dog would make all the difference. And it's helpful for kids to understand how to take responsibility. And, I think it's a great thing. I would, if I had kids, I probably would have a dog if I could have a dog, right?
Don't get a rescue one, because then they can't just be trusted. Yeah, the dog can't be trusted to go walking without trying to tell everyone else off.
And one final thing I would add here for people who are like, maybe I should get a dog, I don't get a dog. It's like I would give this advice for people who maybe are looking for a date or something. Like, I thought about this many times. Like, if I was single and I wanted to meet girls instead of going through an app, man, if you get a dog, you will meet so many girls. Like, when you walk, your dog, and it's a healthy thing, right? It's a very social thing. You will have an excuse to talk with people, boys or girls or whatever you prefer. But man, I would definitely get a pet or a dog, because it's the best. Like, if you're into that and if you want to socialize with people, get a dog, because you will be forced to do it, right?
So what we're going with is my way to make kind of being a dog owner better is for communication devices, and yours is just be single. So on that note. On that note, no, but it's been absolutely amazing. What have you got in the pipeline at the moment?
We are working on a sequel to Killer Sofa, actually.
No!
And this is like it's still on the works, but we have a studio interested in going ahead with the film, and who knows, more films. So that's what I've been working on lately. Actually, I've been working on a script and seeing where we can take the story. Respecting the mythology and everything that happened in Killer Sofa 1. So we are trying to see where the movie could go. And for me, it would be an opportunity to try things that I wasn't able to do with the first one, because it was such a small budget film. So it's exciting. Yeah, I'm really excited about what's coming up. With this.
This makes me so. And I would just heard your dog in the background.
That's my dog.
Today, obviously, we spoke on the other podcast, but is it better than Killer Sofa? Aptly named. About actually when you joined myself and Will on that, about kind of the idea of a second, or this world of kind of inanimate object horror. And the fact that actually there is going to be a sequel is maybe the best thing. I mean, I'm going to buy a ticket, come over, and I want to be in the background somewhere.
Deal.
This is. Or I tell you what, instead of see, if you hadn't moved your dog and cat over from Australia, you could have spent that 10 grand on getting me over for a month. Oh, look at that.
And you look after me.
That's disappointing. I'd look after the dog.
But the thing is, I might have actually shoot this in Europe. That is the objective here. Now it has to do with where can we get money from, but there's different places. It might be Portugal, Ireland, or Canary Islands. I just, in this type of business, you kind of follow the money. You see where you can get tax credits from and things like that. But that is the type of thing that is happening now with the film. It just stepped up, which is a huge opportunity for me to just make a movie with a little bit more budget, with an actor that you will probably know, right? And it's like, so it'll be a bit of a step up, and I hope we can, I can make a film that lives up to the first one, right? In terms of, what we achieved there, the things that worked somehow, make them work again. So that's where it's at, which is really exciting, man. It will be an opportunity to show this to a lot more people, and we'll see. It needs to preserve what kind of, at least for me, what's fun about the first one, and what kind of I think it still holds up. But But yeah,
Definitely. And I mean, yeah, the ending of the first certainly does leave itself very much open.
yeah.
And you know, I mean, I for one cannot wait. Yeah, please keep us updated on how that's going.
Oh, for sure.
All right. But it's been absolutely amazing having you on. Thank you so much. Good luck with Killer Sofa 2.
Yeah.
And enjoy the dog. Like we know we do. We just enjoy a bone about it.
Yeah, exactly.
And thank you very much, everyone, for listening. We'll see you on the next episode.
All right. See ya.